On the news, Nigerian army says over 100 ISWAP fighters' families surrendered to troops in Borno. Two more dead bodies recovered, 4 still missing after oil vessel fire in Delta State. And federal government receives 2 million Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines. It's good to have you join us in News Now. I am Mary Kanu. Over 104 members of the Islamic State's West African province, ISWAP, and their families have surrendered to troops of the Nigerian army. According to the army, the former ISWAP fighters surrendered their weapons on Saturday to troops of the 25 Task Force Brigade in Damboa town of Borno State. A breakdown of the figure shows that 22 of those received by the soldiers and men, 27 of them women, while 55 were children. The Director of Defense Media Operations at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Bernard Onyuko, said troops in the northeast have continued to gain successes over the activities of ISWAP fighters in the region. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has decried Nigeria's rising global ranking for female genital mutilation, FGM. This comes as UNICEF, on the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation of 2022, revealed that Nigeria ranked 3rd globally. The global body also disclosed that female genital mutilation is on the rise among Nigerian girls aged 0 to 14, adding that the rate of FGM has risen from 16.9% in 2013 to 19.2% in 2018. UNICEF lamented that FGM remains widespread in Nigeria, with an estimated 19.9 million survivors. And moving on, 2 additional dead bodies have been recovered from the oil vessel explosion belonging to Sheba Exploration and Production Company Limited, SEPCO, in Delta State. In a signed statement confirming the new development, SEPCO's Chief Executive Officer Ikemefuna Okafor said the 2 dead bodies were found on the vessel's deck. The company had on Sunday announced that 3 persons had been rescued, while 1 dead body was recovered. On her part, the Minister of State for Environment, Sharon Ikazo, has assured that the National Oil Spill Detection Response Agency, NOSTRA, has commenced overflight operations at the site of the exploded vessel to monitor the situation of crude spill in the sea. She also noted that the overflight operation will be sustained in the weeks ahead until whatever remnants of oil in the FPSO are evacuated and measures evolve to forestall a recurrence of such an incident. And the sister of late Sylvia Romani, a student of Darwin College, Amira Ogenetejiri Romani, has testified at the coroner's inquest investigating the controversial death of the Darwin College student. For reasons of a child's right to privacy, the sister of the deceased was questioned in absence of the press. Just before the questioning of late Sylvia's father, Sylvia Romani Sr., the State Council presented a case of annexation of sensitive documents and flash drive containing pictures, videos and audios related to the case against the prosecuting counsel. In response, counsel to the Romani family, Andrew Efole, said all documents except one were served to both sides by the Ministry of Justice. While speaking to journalists, the prosecuting counsel further explained that the court will reconvene on Tuesday for the pathology of the late Sylvester. The case has, however, been adjourned till Monday, the 14th of February 2022. Moving on, the National Assembly has assured that a report of its Joint Committee on Review of the 1999 Constitution will be presented to both legislative chambers for consideration at the end of this month. Chairman Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution and Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Ovie Omoagege, made this known in Abuja at a joint retreat of the Senate and House of Representatives Committees on Constitution Amendment. Omoagege disclosed that consultants had recommended over 55 bills from hearings and memos submitted by the public. The Muslim Student Society of Nigeria has weighed in on the controversy surrounding the use of the hijab within the precinct of Christian-run educational facilities in the country. The national president of the association, Shehu Uthman Abubakar, while speaking at the first national annual hijab week in Abuja, said the development has political undertones and is potentially disastrous to national security.
It's quite unfortunate, and we want our Christian colleagues to understand that hijab is not a problem to anybody. Hijab is not imposed to any non-Muslim.
This is World Hijab Day that has been commemorated in fact, over 170 countries in the world. And what we are saying is that as an hijabi, be a good role model, and aside from enjoying your civic rights or your fundamental human rights, then be able to do what to excel in your areas. In fact, we have a lot of them, so emulate those good ones and also replicate it amongst your own peers. So
all over the world now, any woman who exposes her body risks the chance of being touched or being leered at by other males. So it's like, it's not even about Islam or not Islam. For everybody, for every female, there is that need to cover her nakedness, you know, to take away the eyes of the male predators from.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, hundreds of Myanmar parents disown dissident children over fear of junta. Details of the story and more right after this break.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. 104 members of the Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP, and their families have surrendered to troops of the Nigerian Army. According to the Army, the former ISWAP fighters surrendered their weapons on Saturday to troops of the 25 Task Force Brigade in Damboa town of Borno State. We also told you that 2 additional dead bodies have been recovered from the old vessel explosion belonging to Sheba Exploration and Production Company Limited, SEPCOL, in Delta State. In a signed statement confirming the new development, the Chief Executive Officer of SEPCOL, Ikeme Funa Okafor, said the 2 dead bodies were found on the vessel's deck. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And also COVID-19 stories and updates. 36 new COVID-19 cases have been added to Nigeria's caseload. According to data released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC), the new infections were recorded across 4 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Lagos State, the epicenter of the virus, came first on the log with 23 infections, while the FCT and Osun State followed on the log with 5 and 4 cases respectively. The new confirmed cases have increased the country's infection toll to 253,727, while with no fatalities recorded, the country's death toll still stands at 3,139. And the federal government has received 2 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine donated by the European Union. The formal handover of the vaccines was done on Monday at the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency (NPHCDA) National Strategic Cold Store in Abuja. The EU ambassador Samuela Isopi, who made the presentation of the vaccines, said the donation is part of the EU's commitment to jointly combat the pandemic. On his part, the executive director of the NPHCDA, Al-Shuaib, said the federal government has procured over 39 million doses of the J&J vaccine through Afrexim Bank. He said only about 12 million doses of the single-shot vaccine are currently in the cold store.
Today's donation brings us collectively closer to reaching the milestone of 500 million doses delivered by COVAX, with 300 million donated by Team Europe, an achievement which is worth celebrating today. The European Union is so far the biggest donor of COVID-19 vaccines in the world. To date, Team Europe has mobilized at least 38 billion euros, of which 8 billion for the African continent. The European Union is now stepping up its efforts to support Africa, where vaccination is lower than in other parts of the world. This will be also at the center of the discussions that European leaders and African leaders will have next week at the upcoming European Union-African Union Summit in Brussels. Today's donation signifies the continuation of the commitment of the European Union and its member states to support Nigeria's fight against COVID-19.
With today's donation of 1,936,050 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine through the European Union, we also have a stock of about 10 million doses of the vaccines that have been donated through the COVAX. This brings to a total just a little over 51 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that have been donated to the government of Nigeria. And we're very excited about the fact that this is a very safe and efficacious vaccine. It is a vaccine that we now use as a single-dose vaccine, and then the opportunity exists for a booster dose. But for those hard-to-reach areas, this is a vaccine that is going to be very, very critical.
Well, we'll take a break here and return with business, international and sport updates. Don't go away.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Corruption not in my country. That was a very good business. Yeah. The furniture you brought was very perfect.
That's how we roll.
Then let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I don't do business like that now. Yeah.
In that case, give me back my check. Let me go and look for someone that understand business.
Take.
Your loss.
It is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
Now get out.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No,
you will die.
That is the door. Now get out from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people, make not really add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Well, up next is business news and stock market report with Simisola Adigun. Over to you now, Simisola.
Thank you very much, Mary. Fitch Solutions, an affiliate of global rating agency Fitch, has predicted that Nigeria's weak performance in the oil and gas sector may continue to slow down the country's economy in the coming years. In its latest report on the state of the Nigerian economy, the rating agency stated that from its analysis, the new Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) might not impact the country in the near term. The group added that given the rapid pace of population growth in Nigeria, it is expected that average incomes would continue to stagnate in the country. We'll take a short break now and be back with stock market reports. Investors lost 41.24 billion naira as all-share index dipped by 0.16% to open the week negative. At the end of the first weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 2.85 million volume of shares valued at 4.129 billion naira were traded in 5,342 deals. With the all-share index on a decline by 0.16%, it closed at 47,203 basis points, while current capitalization stands at 25 trillion naira. 113 NGX equities participated in trading, ending with 23 gainers and 23 losers. Okomu Oil and NEM Insurance had the biggest losses, ending with a combined loss of a whopping 130 naira 81 kobo. On the flip side, Suno Assurances Nigeria led the gainers counter, followed by Scoa Nigeria. Together, they had a combined gain of 9 naira 93 kobo. As trading goes on in the week, analysts advise investors to take positions in only fundamentally justified stocks, as the weak macro environment remains a significant headwind for corporate earnings. Now on to select global stocks. London's FTSE and US Dow Jones rose by 0.93% and 0.12% respectively, while Japan's Nikkei declined by 0.70%. Britain's and US positive earnings are led by banking stocks as investors continue to bet on rising interest rates globally. Japan's Nikkei share average sank as disappointing financial results knocked down some industrial companies, while worries about a faster pace of global monetary tightening simmered in the background. Well, that's all on Stock Market Report. It's back to Mary.
Well, thank you for that update, Simisola. And now on the global scene, every day for the last 3 months, an average of 6 to 7 families in Myanmar have posted notices in the country's state-owned newspapers, cutting ties with sons, daughters and relations who have publicly opposed the ruling military junta. The notices started to appear in November after the army, which seized power from Myanmar's democratically elected government a year ago, announced it will take over properties of its opponents and arrest people giving shelter to protesters. Targeting families of opposition activists was a tactic used by Myanmar's military during unrest in 2007 and the late 1980s, but has been used far more frequently since the February 1st, 2021 coup. And it's time for Entertainment Report.
Popular show host Frank Edo has been announced as the host of the television game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. According to the organizers, the ultimate prize to be won on the show is now 20 million naira, and it will be broadcast for 52 weeks. Tagged The Rebirth, another addition to the show will see contestants able to use a lifeline of asking the host whenever they get stuck. Other lifelines on the show are 50-50, Call a Friend, and Ask the Audience. Kule Afolayan has confirmed its KAP Studios' first film project of the year. In a recently shared Instagram post unveiling first-look images, the filmmaker revealed that production is ongoing at KAP newly acquired Film Village in Oyo State. According to Afolayan, the period piece promises to leave film lovers overwhelmed as it will explore similar themes as HBO's hit series Game of Thrones, but with a representation of Yoruba culture. The feature film whose title is yet to be confirmed will see Hollywood actor Akeem K. Kakim star alongside King of Boys star Shola Shobowale, Bimba Ademoye, Kunle Remi, Taiwo Hassan, Fetia Balogun, Karim Adepoju aka Baba Wande, among other amazing actors. And that is all that we have for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And now in sports, the Senegalese national team on Sunday defeated Egypt to win the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. The encounter was decided by penalties after a goalless 120 minutes. Sadio Mane scored the decisive penalty as Senegal overcame Mohamed Salah's Egypt 4-2 in a shootout to win their first African title after Sunday's final finished goalless at the end of extra time. Senegal's president Macky Sall declared Monday a public holiday to celebrate the national football team's first ever African crown following their victory against Egypt. Senegal and Egypt will meet again next month in a playoff for sport at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Well, sports analyst Esson Oludare joins me now for more analysis of the game. Well, thank you for joining me on the news.
Thanks for having me.
Now, when the tournament kicked off, would you have predicted that Senegal will take home the cup? And what lessons do you think the Super Eagles can take home?
I think they were actually the favorites. So they were one of the favorites and they were number one on the list. So it's just like for the first time in recent memory, we have the favorite actually winning. Because Senegal were everybody's favorite from the beginning. You know, they have a lot of quality players, and they've been number one in Africa in the FIFA ranking for quite some time, and they're number 20 in the world. So if a team is 20 in the world and number one in Africa, naturally, on paper, you rate them as number one. So in the group stage, when they weren't playing very well, people were like, what is wrong with Senegal? But I think they paced themselves very well. It's like running a 400-meter race where you go hard the first 150 meters, then you cool down before you get to the home straight and kick. They didn't actually go well in the first 150 meters, if I'm using the analogy, but they kick towards the end when it matters most. So I think they justified that rating, that they are the best in Africa.
All right.
And as for the lesson, yeah, you talked about lessons. As for the lessons, I think we didn't play well. Fine, we sacked the coach on the eve of the tournament, and the Nigerians saw a different Super Eagles from the one they've seen in the last 2 years. Because in the last 2 years, we've always been having our heart in our mouth each time the Eagles were playing. I remember the Central African Republic that we lost over here for the first time in Lagos. Then Cape Verde almost took the walk-up ticket from us. That's the playoff ticket. So people were like, even if you don't do well, because with Raw, we knew from the beginning that we would not do well. So let's take that gamble. And I think the gamble paid well to a certain extent because we saw a different team, a team that gave us hope of a better tomorrow, a team that tried to rekindle what they had in the 90s. And so people are really happy. And if there's any lesson, I think it is that we should stick with the enemy that we know. That's an home-based coach. Senegal has done that. This guy has been with them for like 7 or 8 years now. That's the coach. He lost in the final the last time. And yet, he's still there. And I think that's what we should do. We should encourage our local coaches because we have a whole lot of them. And I think that is one campaign the mathematical itself, Teacher Godegwamin has been making, that we should stick with our local coaches. We have a good crop of footballers that graduated from the 1990s, exactly 1994, that people still regard as the best Super Eagles that we've ever had. We have the Finidi George, the Emmanuel Namunikes, the Osin Iguavons, and the Stevie Kechi that died. And it was one of them, Kechi, that actually won the last cup that we won. So we should have confidence in the home-based coaches that we have. And I think that's the lesson that we need to learn. Persevere with them. If they fail, still continue with them. That's what Senegal did, and it has paid off.
All right, sorry to cut you here now, but I must ask, still talking about Nigeria, the playoffs for sport at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, you know, it comes up in about a month. Now, using the performance of the Eagles as a yardstick, how confident are you that Nigeria, the Super Eagles, will qualify for the World Cup?
On paper, you know, when you are doing analysis, you do it on paper based on what you are saying. It doesn't mean to play out like that, like what happened against Tunisia. On paper, we should have defeated Tunisia. But because we were confident, because we thought we didn't actually prepare for that, we played like the old Wenger team. Wenger only prepares his team. He wasn't really concerned about the opponent. And that was exactly what killed us. If you watch our game against Egypt, we had a plan for Mo Salah. But against Tunisia, we was like, 10, 11 of them had COVID. They are pushovers. And that really affected us. And that really affected us. So that is what happened. So for Ghana, I think we have on paper, we are ahead of them. They are actually in crisis. We are not in crisis. They are actually in crisis. And you see what they did at the Nations Cup, they were so poor that they even lost to Comoros, the lowest ranked team in the competition. Then against South Africa, when they were the last round of the qualifiers, well, I don't want to say whether it was cheating or whatever, but you can see what happened, that South Africa even had to petition FIFA. So you can see that Ghana is in crisis. And we should just not take it for granted that, they are in crisis like we did with the Tunisians, and think we can roll over them. And most of the analysts are even saying that it will take a miracle for us to be there. But we should not be deceived by that. We were deceived by that against Tunisia. We should not be deceived by that against Ghana.
Well, Eson Oludare, sports analyst, I'm afraid that's how much you can take on the news. Thank you for joining us and for your contributions. Well, that's the size of our news bulletin at this time. Well, thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu. Bye for now.